from America's heartland, this is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Gary Russen Program on GJRB Online. And before we get started, we're going to get into our news and commentary here on GJRB. This is the program that launches the Gary Russen Program on Friday broadcast, and sometimes in the second hour of our middle of the week over the Hump Day Wednesday broadcast. But for right now, it is time for Gary J's news and comment. Before we get started, though, we're going to take a look at that national weather map and the national weather forecast. And let's take a look at some of that short-range forecast for the nation. Well, you guys up at the Pacific Coast, I know some of you might not be hearing us today. San Francisco had load of wind and a lot of rain. Knocked some power out yesterday for most of San Francisco. Well over 80,000 customers were knocked out of electricity yesterday due to that storm. And they say heavy rain and mountain snow is expected across California. Systems to maintain strength and migrate across southern Rockies and the high plains later this weekend. The energetic upper level is a trough that will pack strong winds in advance of a Pacific cold front this evening. That'll be across western Utah, northwest Arizona. There'll be wind advisories there in effect with gusts exceeding 45 miles per hour. Behind that will be a cold front. An unstable atmosphere will promote numerous showers for nearly all the west coast, and occasional snow showers in the higher elevations, the Cascades, the Secosas, the Sierra Nevadas, all those in the interior mountain regions are all going to get it. System expected to migrate across four corners of the region Saturday night, and then it'll go into the high plains of the southwest. It'll leave there and go to the high plains of the southwest, Texas Panhandle on Sunday morning. That's on Sunday morning. The system will then have a potential to produce some strong winds in the plains, heavy snow and strong winds in the southern Rockies, upper Rio Grande Valley, and that system will be intense. And it'll produce some scattered showers and a few thunderstorms in the southern plains, snowy conditions along the central Colorado, western Kansas portions, and I-70 corridor. In the northeast, persistent upper level circulation is going to remain quasi-stationary over the coast of Nova Scotia, although through this weekend, and that presence allowing for some brisk northwest winds and scattered snow showers. That's going to be the forecast across a very large portion of New England, downwind to the eastern Great Lakes. This is going to be brisk northwest and north winds, and that's likely to go into the Piedmont and southeast during the weekend. And let's see, what's your biggest temperature? Well, the high temperature for December 11, 2014 will be received at 1 p.m. Eastern Time today. 1 p.m. Eastern Time today. That's already passed. That was midnight here in the Central Time Zone. 79 degrees for people in Kingsville, Nas, Texas. 79 in Yuma, Arizona. The lowest temperature happens today at 1 degree in Ontario Reservoir, Colorado. So there you go. That's the weather from the weather desk. And we always check your weather. And remember, for local weather in your area, just watch your local weather forecast channel, the Weather Channel, or your local TV and radio stations. That's a look at the weather for now, and let's get on now to our news and comment here on the Gary Russen Program. And we're going to start off with this one. Believe it or not, did you hear about this? This is the start of our news and commentary today. And this happened yesterday, just started yesterday. Congressional staffers are walking out of their jobs in protest. Now, these are the black staffers. Congressional staffers are walking out of their jobs, protesting on the lack of indictments on both the deaths of Michael Brown and Eric Garner. These congressional staffers walking out of their jobs and their support of families. And 2 grand juries decided not to indict the police officers responsible for their deaths. So these guys, and of course, these again are black congressional staffers walking out in protest of the, and a lot of them here. This happened yesterday, or it's happened about 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time yesterday. And apparently, I guess what happened was they walked out there. So they're out there. This is just what the bite of what you'll hear. And they're walking out. The staffers are. And they're taking pictures of these guys. They got their hands up. This is probably about Michael Brown. Yeah. Okay, and it just goes on, about 27-second bite of what was going on over there from CNN. And they're saying that they're walking out and protesting this guy. So this protest goes on, folks. It's not going to end. It's just going to keep on going. They're going to keep on protesting. Now the congressional staffers are in for it. They're the ones starting to get really annoyed. So we're going to have this for a while. It's going to keep going. They're just going to keep on doing this for some reason. So we're going to get more onto this because I don't know. I mean, okay, now, like I said before, Michael Brown case. This is a tacky situation, okay? Michael Brown was up against a man who was may have not been armed. Okay, I'm not saying he was an unarmed black guy. Okay, then he lunges at Officer Wilson. What do you expect the cop to do? Okay, now I said earlier that he should have called out for backup. Here's another situation regarding Eric Garner. Now this is a different situation. Okay, this is an entirely different situation. This is a situation where the police officer had a chokehold on the black guy. The chokehold. White man, white police officer against a black. Okay, don't know the reputation of this. We don't know the motives, the criminal profile on this guy. But Eric Garner, that police officer, according to their police department, this is according to their police department, they have a rule or a law or a rule against chokeholding. So in this case, this is a tacky one because there is a cop that probably violated the rules a little bit. So I'm thinking in this case, it is cop is responsible some one way or another there, because in this situation it involved a chokehold. And I believe this time, it's a matter. Now, I think what we're going to do here, this is going to be a matter of opinion coming up here on the Gary Russen Program's News and Comment. Here's another interesting story here about this. ISIS is selling the beheaded body of journalist James Foley for an amount of $1 million. International BuzzFeed reporter cites sources who are allegedly seeking a middleman in this negotiation. ISIS wants to sell Foley's body to his parents and the U.S. government, and the terror group is trying to present an offer as an act of mercy. Really? Foley appeared in the terror group's first beheading video back in August, and this is a story saying, according to the BuzzFeed, if true, this is according to BuzzFeed.com. If true, attempted sale would highlight the ruthlessness behind the hostages taking enterprise that is provided ISIS with deep reservoirs of funds and publicity, as well as a group of cold calculations as it works to raise more cash. How about that? At one point this year, ISIS held 23 Western hostages in Syria. There were 15 Europeans that were freed as government reportedly paid millions of dollars in ransoms. But the British and Colombia hostages remain. Both governments refused to negotiate for hostages or to allow families to pay the ransoms. In months since Foley's death, ISIS has released videotaped executions of U.S. journalist Stephen Sotloff and British aid worker Alan Henning, and U.S. aid workers Peter Kasich, British journalist Joseph Kintiel, and a U.S. woman, a 26-year-old aid worker, remain in ISIS hands. So they got these guys, and they're going to negotiate and bet you the bottom dollar they're going to hold them up for ransom, threaten to behead them if these demands aren't met. Believe it or not, I think that's what's going to happen here. I see this again. It's happening. They got all these guys, and they're standing by. They're standing by, and every one of them is going to be beheaded. I could see this coming, folks. A mile away. Coming up, a woman who drove her kids into the... Remember that? Remember when that woman drove her kids into the ocean? She's not going to be charged. We'll talk about that coming up. And in our matter of opinion, we'll talk about that, the protesting of the congressional workers. And get this. Here's what do you think of this one. Is the mom going too far this time? She canceled Christmas for her ungrateful kids. That's coming up as we continue the Gary Russen Program and Gary J's News and Comments. Stay tuned. More to come.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else. Hey, all right, Skip
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Attention musicians, if you're starting a band or just starting a solo act on your own, go to the place on the internet where you can get equipment at great prices. HelloMusic.com. They have guitars, amps, mixers, and microphones, some at great low prices. Log on today and look at the equipment and the prices. www.hellomusic.com. Like them on Facebook for chances to win guitars, mics, and other band equipment. Remember the name, Hello Music.
Gary Russen Program back on the air here on GJRB, and this is, of course, is our news and comment, which kind of leads right into the Gary Russen Program, and we're going to continue talking about this as we do